All right. Hey, and just to end up this little thing real quick, I just want to say that, you know, I'm not trying to glorify prison. I'm trying to like help people. This is not where it's at right here. This ain't cool. This ain't fun. So I kind of want people to, you know, do something else with their life, do something positive with their life. Not this. This is not where it's at. And especially with the holidays coming up, like being with your family, and then you got New Year's coming up. Man, set some goals for yourself. Go back to school or learn a trade or, do 2023 with starting off right. Maybe getting a better job and, getting yourself out of whatever situation you're in. I just really hope that you do something with your life, and don't throw it away like I did.
First and foremost, Bobby, man, I'd like to welcome to the show, brother, man. How are you doing, man?
Hey, always, man. Yeah. It's just, I'm doing pretty good. Still here up in Mule Creek.
Hey,
I
man.
go to committee. Hey, hold on. It's count time right now. All right, go ahead. Yeah, it's that I'm on that closed custody, so they got to do me a little different count. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm still here in Mule Creek. I'm hoping to go back to committee in January, and I'm hoping to get put back up for transfer back down south.
Hey, man, hopefully that does happen for you, Bobby, man, so you could be closer to your family, man, and especially now that the holidays are coming up, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Bobby, so we're going to go ahead and talk about some in-house living, man. You yourself, man, have been incarcerated for over 20 years, my friend. So I'm pretty sure you can go ahead and give us a good rundown, a good breakdown, man, of perhaps some unwritten rules that someone such as myself is not aware of. Me, myself, I've never been to prison, and a lot of people who are probably listening right now have never been to prison. So they might not know what it might be like to have a lifer as a cellmate. But just unwritten rules like perhaps such as little things like passing gas, or little things like perhaps you might have a package, the other person might not have a package. Are you obligated to share with this individual? Little things like that. Having to sit down and use the bathroom out of courtesy or respect. Little things like that I've heard, man. Can you go ahead and break it down a little further for us, man?
What was that last part?
Would you be able to break it down for us?
Oh yeah. Like there's just, man, the thing about being celled up with someone, it kind of varies. It's like for the most part, rules are. Hey, hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna. Never mind, we're good right here. I was gonna switch to a different little kiosk. Hey, but rules are rules. Like it doesn't matter where you're at, what prison you're at. For the most part, all the rules on level 4 are pretty much the same. Like everybody is kind of like on the same page as far as what you do and what you don't do. Like one of the basic things is like cleaning up after yourself. Like if I have a cellie, I'm not your maid. I'm not your mother. I'm not in there to clean up after you. So I will clean up after a cellie because it's kind of it's mutual. It works both ways. It's just people get a little offended if one person is doing a little bit too much than the other person. It starts feeling like, he's obligated, or maybe the guy is trying to, disrespect them. Respect is a huge issue. It plays on everything you do. Everything that you do in prison is about respect. From where you work out on the yard, to what table you're sitting at, to who you're hanging around with, everything. But as far as like in the cell, you know, if you leave the cell and you come back, it's kind of like it's just the small things. It's courtesy, you know. You take your shoes off, you wash your shoes, you wash the floor. You know, me, I've been single cell now, living by myself for probably since 2005. So the last 17 years, I haven't had a cellie now. But so my program is pretty consistent. I wake up in the morning, and that's the first thing I do is I hit the floor. You know, I throw the towel in the toilet, wet it, mop up the floor, rinse it out, clean the toilet out, clean the sink, you know. But so, like I was saying, there's like little things that you don't do, like for you or for other people that are watching. When you brush your teeth and you have that toothpaste in your mouth, what's your first thing? Where do you spit it? You spit it in the sink, right? But in prison or in my cell, I don't do that because I wash my face in that sink. So if I have a cellie who's brushing his teeth and he's spitting in there, that rubs me the wrong way. So I would tell him, hey, look, you know, especially in prison because the toilet is attached to the sink. So the toilet is right there. So if you're brushing your teeth and you're going to spit it in the toilet out of respect, out of courtesy, you know? But like I said, it works both ways. There could be some things that my cellie might not like or might not do, and he might ask me, you know, hey, could you do me a favor and do this, or could you do me a favor and don't do that? You know, like, for example, using the restroom, right? Like, nowadays, back when I was coming up in prison, back when I was a youngster, even when I was a little kid, I've always been taught that boys stand up and girls sit down to pee, right? So it's just basic. I'm old school. I'm 50 years old. So when I use the restroom, I stand up. But a lot of these kids today, they sit down. And I asked someone a while back, like we were having a conversation. I was clowning him because he was sitting down. And so it kind of opened up the conversation on, hey, why is that? Why do you do that? And the common theme that everybody would say was that when you use the restroom, it splashes. So there might be some splash off, but me, the way I look at it, yeah, there might be, sure, but that's why you clean the cell. That's why you clean the floor. That's why you're always cleaning the sink. You're always cleaning the toilet, you know? I'm not going to, if I have a cellie, and my cellie would, if he didn't want me to spit in the sink, sure, okay, no problem, I won't do that, you know? Or, like you were talking about earlier about passing gas, it's common courtesy, it's just a respect thing that if you do pass gas, you know, go to the door, you know? I've had cellies where they will sit down on the toilet, pass gas, and reach behind them and flush the toilet and kind of like, it'll help it out. You know, little things like that, it goes a long ways. If you're, you know, I've done close to 30 years in prison now. Right now I've been locked up about 24 years straight. You know, and most of that time I've done it in shoes where you're locked up in a cell for 24 hours a day, every day. You know, you'll come out for 3 days a week, you'll get a little hour and a half. You'll get a little hour and a half or 2 hours for yard. But being in a cell with someone for 24 hours, you know, little things start to weigh on you, you know? Hey, Tony.
You gonna be able to call me back, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm gonna call you back right now.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Hey, but you know another thing about that though is that, you know, using the restroom and passing gas, You know, those are like, when you're stuck in a cell for 24 hours a day, you eat in that cell, you eat your breakfast, you eat your lunch, you eat your dinner, you know? So there has to be those little rules of give and take to kind of make, make living with someone a little bit more bearable, you know?
Hey, thank you for breaking that down right there, Bobby. Hey, what about when it comes to like food and whatnot? Let's just say, this gentleman right here, he just happens to get a package. His family's looking out for him. You've been incarcerated, you said, for almost 30 years. Perhaps, this 1 month you didn't get a package. Is he somewhat morally obligated to kind of look out for you in the next month or two until you get up to par?
Yeah, everything, like, about the kitty, right? Like every time a white boy or a Mexican goes to canteen, he's got to give up a third of his canteen that goes to the kitty, right? It's just a little something that homeboys put together for new arrivals, new fish coming. Hold on a second, you disappeared. Yeah, so it's a little something that they put together for new arrivals or new fish, so that the next man doesn't have to go without, But as far as a cellie, yeah, everything that my cellie gets, I automatically get half, because that's how it is with cellies. If I'm in a cell and I have coffee or toothpaste or soups or whatever it is, I tell my cellie I got an open shelf policy. What's mine is yours. So help yourself. If you want a shot of coffee, go ahead. You ain't got to ask. Get it. But there could be little rules. If I start seeing that he's drinking a little bit too much coffee, then I'll tell him, hey, look, you gotta it's another 3 weeks until canteen, or it's another 2 months until our package. You gotta start conserving. We gotta make what we have last. And so, yeah, so when he does get a package, and that's kind of a thing that I touched on with you before, as far as the prison gangs. Prison gangs will use stuff like that in order to try and get their hooks into a guy. If a young kid comes into prison and he doesn't have anything, he doesn't have no coffee, he doesn't have no toothpaste or nothing, the homies will look out for him, But them looking out for him, it comes with a price. They're not looking out for him because they like him or they have respect for him. They're looking out for him because he's a number. He's going to strengthen their little gang, and they're gonna use that. They're gonna capitalize on that. So I try to tell people when they come in, you don't never need anything that bad. If I don't have it, I would rather do without. So I don't owe anybody. I don't ever want to be beholden to no man. You know what I mean?
Bobby, other than that situation at Pleasant Valley, I know you have that in-house murder with your cellmate, but other than that individual, have you ever had another bad cellie experience, another cellmate that just sticks out in your mind? You're like, man, this guy was really hard to live with.
I've sent you my paperwork, and if you look on there, you'll see a lot of my fights were with cellies. I used to be really hard on cellies, and I've learned as I got older. Because here's my thing, right? But to answer your question, like that one in Pleasant Valley is a perfect example. That guy was actually exposing himself to a gender in the day room. So, this is a man's, I'm going to try to say this in a delicate way, right? This is a man's prison. There's certain needs that men have. So a rule would be you don't do that when another man is in the cell. So if you need some time by yourself, you need some alone time, that's fine. Go ahead and handle your business, but you're going to wait until I leave that cell, you know? Because like I said, I'm old school. I don't want to be in a cell when another man is doing that. That's not cool for me. That's not okay for me, you know? But so that's what my cellie was doing, and that was just not cool right there, you know. And that's kind of that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's actually what caused me to get up and hit him, is I caught him doing that, you know. But so as far as like when I was younger, when I would get into it with the cellie, I wouldn't let up, right? Because my whole frame of mind, my whole way of thinking was that if I beat this guy up, what am I gonna do? I can't go to sleep with this guy in the cell because he could potentially try to kill me while I'm sleeping. He could try to like cut my face, whatever. Stuff like that happens, and I would never put myself in that type of situation. So what I would do is I would just continue to beat the guy up until he got on the door and started calling for the cops. And I've had a couple cellies where they would tell me, hey, look, man, you can go ahead and beat me until I'm black and blue, but I will never call for the police to come and save me. Eventually they would, because there's just only so much that you can take when you're getting into it with another man, you know. But yeah, I've kind of mellowed out in my old age. I've kind of like I try to be, you know, I try to take pride in the stuff that I do, my actions, you know. I try to be a better person, you know. If I could help someone, if I could help pick them up, then I will, you know. I'm not always trying to tear someone down, you know.
What would happen? How would you interpret a situation where, let's just say, whatever miraculous reason, they were to house you with another inmate, and this inmate, like, he just happened to pass gas. He just did not care. He just happened to pass gas, or he's chewing and smacking his food. You know, how would you interpret something like that? A new guy just going in there for a Grand Theft Auto, serving an 18-month sentence.
Yeah, I would try, you know, me being 50 years old, being a little bit older, I'll try to school them, you know. I'll try to like put them up on a little game. Hey, look, you know, chew your mouth when you're eating, you know. Chew with your mouth closed, man. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to see that. Have a little bit of, you know, and like I would try to like talk to him in a way to where I'm actually like making him feel good, making him take pride in himself. And sometimes that works, but if it gets to the point where you've talked to them, and it just ain't sinking in, I just tell them, pack your and get the like straight up, you know.
Have you ever came across or heard about some bad celly tactics? You know, whether, you know, I even heard of situations where cellmates would steal like girlfriend's information, and then once the cellmate would move out, he would write the girlfriend, or, you know, the cellmate would go to the shoe, and then the cellmate would come up on other guy's food or canteen, stuff like that.
I see it all the time, man. You know, like I see it here. You know, these guys, these porters that work here, when they roll someone up, they are constantly going through their stuff. But there's rules behind that. If there was a white boy being rolled up, then we wouldn't allow the blacks or the Mexicans to touch his property. If anybody's going to steal his property, it's going to be another white. But only if the guy has it coming. You're not going to steal from me. My homies wouldn't allow another white to try to steal something that belongs to me. But if a guy has it coming, if let's say he runs up a drug debt and he owes a bunch of money, then yeah, all his property will be stolen because that property will be sold in order to pay the debt that he incurred while he was on the yard, you know. But as far as like, I've seen that where guys call, I know people who've actually hooked up with their current fiance or their current wife that they took from their cellie. You know, that's why I don't ever give out my people's information, their phone numbers, whatever, because inmates are scandalous, especially if they think you're going to the hole and you ain't coming back. They don't really have to worry about it, you know, so they will do scandalous stuff like that, you know. I know a homeboy of mine, his name's, he's not a homeboy, but he's a good homie. His name's Woody from Bakersfield. But he was in Tehachapi, and he moved from one cell to another. And later on that day, when they passed out mail, they gave his mail to his old cell. But they had moved a black guy in. Well, that black guy got his people's address, this girl's address, and started writing her. So she wrote Woody and told Woody, hey, what the hell? What's up with this dude? I just got this letter. And so Woody came out with a piece and he dealt with that guy, you know. But the guy tried to say, you know, it wasn't me. I bought the address off of some other guy. It didn't matter. He got stabbed because of it. But yeah, prison's scandalous, man. These guys ain't in prison for being, you know, model citizens. You know, they're in prison because they're, you know, they've got drug problems. They're thieves. They're liars. Whatever. They've got issues. So, you know, I don't really trust anybody. You know.